been touring southern coastal Georgia, and this morning we're in Brunswick. It's an interesting town. We'll look around just a little bit later if we can, but they are expecting rain, and you can see from the dark clouds it's going to get here pretty soon. But Roger did find something he'd like to paint, so he'll start doing that. And then we'll take a little look around later and see what we can find.
I think this is an interesting subject. It reminds me a bit of a lighthouse, although it's not. And I think although this structure is really the main focus of this painting, more of the painting will be concentrated in these palm trees, these big areas. So I'm going to try and make quick work of this today. Just put down a few colors, nice big shapes, then we'll bring it back to the studio. But let's get started now. I've got 3 colors out in my palette: ultramarine blue, Indian yellow, and alizarin crimson. These are 3 transparent colors, and paints do vary according to manufacturers. Some are transparent, some are not. These are all 3 transparent colors, and of course I have titanium white. And this is an 11 by 14 inch piece of masonite with gesso, and I've toned it with a bit of burnt sienna wash on there. I just like to do that to get rid of the harshness of the board, so I don't have to stare at a bright white board. I think I'll start with my dark colors in these palm trees. I'm going to mix all 3 of my colors together here: the ultramarine blue, Indian yellow, and alizarin crimson. And I've laid this in with charcoal because I wanted to express these large shapes so I could more easily understand the composition I'm going for, rather than trying to draw little outlines here. Now I sort of have my values in here. Not really, not exactly, but it does give me a bit of a pattern to go by. Now, since I have these in here, I can wipe this off, this charcoal, and it leaves just enough of it on the board for me to still see what I'm doing. Okay, with these 3 colors, which makes a very dark color here, I'm going to put in these big shapes of these palm trees. I have a 3/4 inch brush here. These are very, very dark. And I'm not worrying about all the fronds and all the leaves that are part of these palm trees yet. I'm just going to put in these great big areas. Just block these in. I'll start with my darks first. I don't have to start with my darks first, but I tend to like to do that. It helps me establish these darks. Now, if I were working with oils, this would be much more important to start with my darks than if I were working with acrylics, because it's very hard to put dark colors over light colors when using oils. But since the acrylics dry so fast, it's not nearly as much of an issue. Okay, we have one more palm way back here next to the house. So I think this is more of a painting about palms and landscape than it is this house. There's a lot of nice detail in that house, and that's something I'll try and put in while I'm back in the studio, I think. Here we have another trunk over here. I'm just using the same colors, just these dark colors, 3 colors. Here we have one more small trunk down here. And there's a lot of other palms right over in this area here, so I'm going to thin this just a bit and put just an indication of some more darks right back in here. And since I've thinned this, it's more of a wash. And then I can get my real darks and then some middle tones, dark middle tones, and then I'll start working on the lights. Over on this right side, I also have a lot of foliage that's hiding a lot of that house. And here again, I'll thin this and just put these sort of semi-dark middle tones in here, right in there. I'm not seeing the bottom part of my house here. I'm going to cut that off to concentrate more on these areas of the palms and this beautiful tower here. Back here, I'll kind of make that a middle tone too.